Very much, Governor Rendell. Thank you. Our next speaker is the former Attorney General of the United States, the Honorable Judge Michael Moukesi, who served with great distinction in that position under President George W. Bush. Judge Moukesi.
It's, of course, both a great honor and a great challenge to step to this podium to speak to people who've come together in support of the residents of Ashraf and in the presence of Mrs. Rajavi, who has become a symbol of the aspirations not only of PMOI-MEK, but also of all Iranians, indeed of all people throughout the world who love freedom. She's become a symbol in more ways than one, not only because of her aspirations, but also because of the courage that she has had to show in pursuing them, and never more so than in recent days, when she's been asked to put the residents of Ashraf and herself on the line by supporting a memorandum that contemplates that the residents of Ashraf will move to a military outpost called Camp Liberty, formerly occupied by United States troops but since abandoned, and in fact looted by the Iraqis. This in anticipation and in the hope that they will be taken from there to refuge in other countries. This understanding places the fate of the residents of Ashraf in the hands of the United Nations that has no power to act, but only to observe and report, and in the hands of an Iraqi government that has all the power to act and has acted increasingly as a proxy for the government of Iran, and that has a history of committing violence and indeed cold-blooded murder against the residents of Ashraf. So how did we come to this, and what can we do about it? We came to this because Nouri al-Maliki established a completely arbitrary deadline of December 31, 2011 for the evacuation of Camp Ashraf, a deadline that had no basis in any other fact than that it was the date that was set by the Iraqi government. And it obviously fulfilled the desire of Iran to be rid of the residents of Ashraf, who have been a bone in their throat and a reminder to the rest of the world of the oppressive nature of the government of Iran. We begged the United States to use its influence with the Iraqi government, and we begged the United Nations to provide protection to the residents of Ashraf. Our plea to the United States has what should be the most solid of bases: reliance on the word of the United States. You will recall, and you've been told today, that in 2003, the residents of Ashraf surrendered their means of self-protection to coalition forces and received in writing the assurance of Generals Miller and Brandenburg that they would be treated as protected persons under the Fourth Geneva Convention. Each of them received an identity document like this one that assured that they would be treated as protected persons, certifying that they were protected persons, even providing them with telephone numbers to call in the event of an incident so as to contact military police. Even when control of the area was ceded to the Iraqi government in 2009, General Petraeus said that he would not have done that but for the assurance of Iraqi authorities that the people of Ashraf would not suffer as a result. Well, we all know what that assurance was worth. In 2009 and again in 2011, and both times, specifically, when the then Secretary of Defense of the United States, Robert Gates, was in Iraq, Iraqi armed forces attacked the residents of Ashraf, who were defenseless, had relinquished their weapons, and we've seen video certainly of the 2011 attack, in which weapons and military vehicles provided to the Iraqis by the United States were used to kill and maim defenseless men and women. A total of more than 47 were killed. If anyone had any doubt as to how the Iraqis view the residents of Camp Ashraf, it would have been dispelled most recently by the newspaper article that the Washington Post published this past December under the byline of Nouri al-Maliki, coinciding with his visit to the United States, in which he had the gall, the effrontery, to say, and these are the words of his article, "The residents of Camp Ashraf have caused a great deal of controversy here," meaning in Baghdad, "and in the United States. Those were the words of his article. Caused a great deal of controversy. It's like saying that torture victims are causing controversy by crying out in pain, and they should be quiet because they're disturbing the peace. The reason for recalling this now is that Iraqi forces are the forces who are supposed to be relied on under the Memorandum of Understanding to maintain order and to protect the residents of Ashraf.